Cancer, close your eyes for a moment and feel. Do you feel that weight settling in your chest every time you think about your family? That ache you try to hide when you realize that once again, your care has been taken for granted? There's a quiet storm brewing in your home, and you're the only one who can feel the air getting colder. While everyone around you pretends everything is fine, you carry within you the certainty that something is about to shatter. And this time, there's no way to pretend it didn't happen. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? That suffocating feeling of being the emotional caretaker for people who should be taking care of you too. Of carrying the burden of always being the listener, the healer, the one who soothes everyone's pain, but who never gets the comfort you deserve. Your family takes you for granted, as if you were an infinite sanctuary who will always be there, no matter how much they drain you or ignore your own needs. But here's the harsh truth no one wants to talk about. You're not an infinite sanctuary. You're a dam that's been holding back an entire ocean of emotion for years. And now, you're reaching the limit of your containment capacity. The looming conflict isn't about the superficial issue that's about to surface. It's about years of accumulated sadness, of silent pleas to be understood, of a love that has not been reciprocated with the same tenderness you offer. In the coming weeks, a seemingly small situation will serve as the final straw that breaks your emotional resolve. It could be an insensitive comment about your sensitivity. It could be your feelings being dismissed once again in an important family decision. It could be the moment you realize someone is emotionally dumping on you, assuming you'll absorb it all, as you always have. But this time will be different. This time, the dam within you will break. And when that happens, you'll speak truths that have been kept hidden for years in the deepest corners of your heart. Truths about how lonely you feel, even when surrounded by family. About how your emotional needs are constantly set aside. About how tired you are of giving comfort without receiving it. Of loving without being loved with the same depth of care. What you're about to say will cut deep because you'll finally be honest about the pain you carry. The question that echoes in the silence of your soul is, are you prepared for the consequences of this honesty? Because when a dam of emotion finally breaks, the flood reshapes the entire landscape. Some people in your family will be shocked to discover that you weren't as okay as you seemed. Others may feel guilty when they realize how much they hurt you without realizing it. And still others may resent you for disrupting the false peace everyone was striving to maintain. Cancer. There's something deeply painful about the way you love your family. You love intensely, protectively, almost desperately for a sense of belonging. Since childhood, you've learned that love is earned through sacrifice, that attention is earned by being the peacemaker, that affection is earned by being needed. And this cruel programming has turned you into a compulsive caretaker, always trying to prove you deserve the love that should be unconditional. You grow up being the child who always tries to smooth things over, the teenager who tries not to be a burden, the adult who takes on emotional labor that isn't yours just to feel essential. And deep down, a part of you always knew you were trading love for service, but it was better than receiving no connection at all. It was better to be loved for your utility than not to be loved at all. Now, after years of living this toxic dynamic, you've reached a point where you can no longer sustain this self-sacrificing version of yourself. You're exhausted from being the emotional anchor for everyone, tired of pretending you don't need to be nurtured, tired of being the safe harbor for people who never offered to be yours. And this exhaustion will manifest as a flood of tears and pain in the upcoming conflict. The most painful truth you'll ever have to face is that some people in your family have grown accustomed to seeing you as a function, not a person. You're the one who listens, the one who endures, the one who always makes things okay. They've forgotten that behind all this strength lies a heart that also needs to be cared for, a spirit that also needs to be acknowledged, a soul that also feels fear, loneliness, and vulnerability. When the conflict erupts, you'll be accused of many things. They'll say you're being too sensitive, that you're overreacting, that you've always been this way, and they don't understand why you're now making a big deal out of nothing. But they don't know about the nights you spent feeling invisible, the moments you questioned whether you really mattered to anyone, the times you cried in silence because you felt emotionally drained and discarded. For Cancers born between the 22nd of June and the 1st of July, this disagreement will mainly involve how you feel responsible for everyone else's happiness. You'll realize that no one ever asks how you are feeling, and this will hurt more than you imagined. For those born between the 2nd of July and the 12th of July, the conflict will be related to how your loyalty and trust have been devalued, making you feel as if your devotion is worthless. And for those born between the 13th of July and the 22nd of July, the outburst will be about how your sacrifices have been taken advantage of and how you feel emotionally bankrupt from giving so much to people who never reciprocate your affection in kind. But regardless of when you were born, all Cancers will experience the same painful revelation. You've been offering your sanctuary to people who only saw it as a temporary shelter. You've been pouring your heart out for those who never learned to hold something so precious, and the time has come to stop shrinking yourself to fit into the small space they've reserved for you. The moment of the outburst will be intense because you'll release years of held-back emotion all at once. Words that have been stuck in your throat will come out with a force that will surprise even you. You'll talk about how alone you feel, even surrounded by family, about how your care is taken for granted, about how your feelings are never taken seriously, and about how tired you are of being a refuge for people who never asked if you need a refuge. 2. The pain that will emerge at this moment isn't just yours. It's a collective pain of all Cancers who grew up believing they needed to be caretakers to deserve love. It's the cry of all tender-hearted children who learned to hide their need for affection behind a mask of self-sufficiency. It's the revolt of all those who gave so much that they forgot they also had the right to receive. You'll discover that your sorrow isn't just about what happened, it's about what didn't happen. About the times you needed comfort and didn't receive it. About the moments you waited for a sign of care that never came. About all the times you felt small in a family that should have made you feel safe. The outburst isn't about the present. It's about the entire past you carried in silence. Cancer, one of the cruelest things about your situation is that you learned from an early age to normalize heartbreak disguised as normality. You grew up thinking you were too needy when you asked for attention, that you were too sensitive when you were hurt by indifference, that you were too weak when you wanted to be comforted. But the truth is, you were never too much. You were always exactly what you were supposed to be, a person with legitimate emotional needs that were never properly met. The family that should have been your first safe space became your first source of emotional insecurity. The people who should have validated your feelings learned to minimize them. Those who should have protected your gentle heart made you feel that your sensitivity was a flaw. And you internalized these messages to such an extent that you began to diminish yourself before anyone even asked. When the conflict arises, you'll have a crucial choice to make. You can retreat back into your shell, apologize for expressing yourself, and resume your usual role. Or you can stand firm in your truth, even if it means weathering a period of tension and distance. The first option will bring temporary peace, but it will kill another piece of your authenticity. The second will be painful, but it will begin to establish healthy boundaries that you should have established long ago. The scariest truth you'll have to face is that some people in your family may never understand what you're trying to communicate. They may continue to see you as oversensitive, moody, and difficult, and you'll need to come to terms with the possibility that the unconditional love you've always offered may not be reciprocated in the same way. This is one of the hardest lessons a Cancer heart can learn. But here's what's also true. You can't keep killing yourself to keep relationships alive that only work when you're dying inside. You can't keep being small so others feel comfortable. You can't keep hiding your feelings so you don't inconvenience people who choose to live in emotional denial. The time has come to honor the depth of feeling that exists within you, even if it bothers those who have grown accustomed to your quiet endurance. The coming conflict isn't a tragedy, it's a birth. It's you giving birth to a more authentic version of yourself, a version that demands to be seen, heard, and respected, a version that doesn't accept crumbs of affection as if they were a feast, a version that knows it deserves love, not because it earned it, but because it exists. In the days leading up to this emotional outburst, you'll feel growing anxiety. Your body will know something's coming before your mind has fully processed it. You may have intense dreams about family confrontations. You may find yourself replaying old hurts, remembering wounds you thought you'd healed. You may feel an irritability that seems to come out of nowhere, but actually stems from years of accumulated resentment. Don't try to stifle these feelings. They are messengers from your soul trying to prepare you for the moment when you finally stand up for yourself. Allow yourself to feel the anger, sadness, and disappointment. They are fuel for the transformation that is coming. They are the energy you will need to break familiar patterns that have been suffocating you for years. When the moment comes, when the words start to pour out of you with a force you didn't expect, remember that you're not attacking, you're defending yourself. You're not trying to destroy your family, you're trying to save yourself. You're not being cruel. You're being honest for the first time in a long time about how you really feel. People may be shocked because they've never seen you like this, because they've grown accustomed to your controlled, gentle, always accommodating self. They'll say, "You've changed, you're not the same person anymore." And they'll be right. You're not the same person anymore. You're someone who finally decided to respect themselves, someone who chose to stop living for other people's approval, someone who discovered that self-love isn't selfish. The brewing emotional storm will clear the air of many things that needed to be said. It will reveal family dynamics that have always existed, but no one had the courage to name. It will force conversations that have been postponed for years. It will bring to the surface resentments that were buried, but never truly died. Some revelations will be painful for everyone involved. You'll discover that certain people in your family don't really see you the way you'd like. They'll discover that you're not as resilient and invulnerable as they imagined. Everyone will need to adjust their expectations and find a new way of relating to one another. And this won't happen overnight. Cancer, what you need to understand is that this conflict isn't the end of your family. It's potentially the beginning of more honest and healthy family relationships. But for that to happen, everyone will need to step out of their comfort zone. You'll need to stop pretending problems don't exist. You'll need to learn to truly communicate, not just exchange superficial pleasantries. You'll discover who truly cares about you when you see how each person reacts to your honesty. Some will make a genuine effort to understand your perspective and change behaviors that hurt you. Others will withdraw even further, preferring to blame you for disrupting the peace rather than admit their part in creating the problem. And still, others will simply disappear, revealing that your presence in their lives was always conditional. Each of these reactions will teach you something valuable about the quality of the relationships you've cultivated. It will show you who deserves to remain a part of your life and who is simply taking advantage of your kindness without giving anything in return. This clarity, however painful it may be initially, will be one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. After the storm passes, you'll find yourself in a completely different place. You'll have set boundaries you never thought you'd have the courage to establish. You'll have spoken truths you've spent years hiding. You'll have stood up for yourself in a way you always knew you deserved, but never had the courage to do. And even if everything doesn't work out the way you'd like, you'll have the peace of knowing you've finally been honest about who you are and what you need. The version of you that emerges from this process will be stronger, not because you've learned to endure more pain, but because you've learned not to accept unnecessary pain. You'll be more selective about who you allow into your heart. You'll be more demanding about the quality of love you accept. You'll understand that your emotional energy is too precious to be wasted on people who don't appreciate rare gifts. You'll learn that it's possible to love your family without sacrificing yourself for them, that it's possible to maintain family connections without sacrificing your authenticity, that it's possible to be loyal to the people you love without being disloyal to yourself. These lessons will transform not only your family relationships, but all the relationships in your life. The coming conflict isn't something to be feared. It's something to be honored as a moment of personal liberation, like the day you finally decided to stop living as a ghost of yourself and start living as the extraordinary person you've always been inside. The day you chose to love yourself as much as you love others. Prepare your heart, yes, but not to shield it. Prepare your heart to open up, to speak your truth, to demand the respect you've always deserved, to stand up for yourself as the valuable person you are. This conflict won't destroy you. It will free you. And when the dust settles, you'll realize it was worth every second of discomfort to finally be able to breathe as your true self. If this message touched something deep within you, don't ignore it. This is no coincidence. It's your Cancer heart telling you firmly and courageously the time has come. It's time to face the wounds that were ignored, the words that were never said, the silences that hurt more than screams. It's time to stop pretending everything is okay, when inside, something is begging for change. Family relationships aren't always easy, and for you who feel everything so intensely, every gesture, every absence, every conflict echoes like thunder in your soul. But within that same heart beats an unshakable strength. You weren't born to hide. You were born to nurture, including nurturing and rebuilding your own deepest bonds. Share in the comments how you've been feeling about your family. This isn't just venting, it's an act of healing. Your words can shine a light on the path of other Cancers going through similar transformations. You're not alone. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving messages that speak directly to your soul. Practical and spiritual guidance for facing moments of rupture, reconciliation, and rebirth. And hit the notification bell, because in upcoming videos, I'll reveal emotional and spiritual strategies for dealing with the impacts of this journey and rebuilding healthier relationships with boundaries, affection, and truth. Your heart is ready to let your innermost truth flow. And this channel is here to ensure that truth is heard, respected, and celebrated. Trust the process. True love, even within your family, begins with the courage to be who you truly are. Let your heart speak. The transformation has already begun.